Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Choices. I'm your host, Nick Kroll. Today, I have Kittell with me here. He is a personal trainer out of upstate New York. How's it going, man? Thanks for coming on the show.
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Of
Pleasure's
course.
all mine.
So we got a lot to talk about today. We're going to kind of start with like training methods. How are you currently training? And not like with clients, like what do you do personally? Because I see you and Jamie, girlfriend, on Instagram all the time, and you guys are killing it. I like what you're putting out. I love the content you guys put out. I can tell you guys definitely are dedicated, and I'm excited to talk about it, kind of dive in a little bit more to what you do.
Absolutely. So as of late, man, I've had clients around the 6 a.m. time slot. So typically Jamie and I would get there around like 5 a.m., work out from like 5 to 7. And then I would just hop in the shower and shoot over to work. But now that training's kind of picking up for me. So now I'll get to the gym at like 5 and do like a quick 45 to like 55-minute workout. So now I'm doing just one body part a day. Whereas before I was doing like a chest and back, legs, shoulders, arms kind of thing, 3 days on, 1 day off kind of deal. But now since training's kind of getting in the way of that, which is totally fine. I fully accepted that. I'm just kind of in and out, quick little workout. If I'll do chest, back, shoulders, legs, arms, that kind of thing. So your typical bro split, I guess they would call it.
I mean, I do the same thing. I do the quote, the bro split. I usually break it up. I'll go chest one day, and then bis and tris one day, and then back one day, shoulders and abs together, legs. And then at the end of every leg day, I'll hit like 8 sets of arms. It's something I've always kind of done. And I don't know. I like it. It feels really good after. Your legs kind of release all that good stuff, and gotta put it somewhere.
100%. I like that, man.
What do you like best? Like if you had ideal time, right? Time wasn't an issue. What would you do as a training split?
I'm sorry, say it again. I just got cut off.
Oh, it's all good. So what would you do as a training split? Like if time wasn't an issue?
If time was not an issue, so I'm typically a 3 days on, 1 day off kind of guy. Even when I did my prep for my show, I would do like say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, rest Thursday, and then hit it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then repeat that cycle. For me personally, I just feel like that was best for like optimal gains, hitting everything twice a week. Like, so say I did chest, back, legs, shoulders, arms, right? Say those first 3 days, I would say chest and back, I would do like barbell movements. I would just focus on the barbell. Even with back, I would focus on like all my rowing movements. Legs, have your like traditional, your squat, your leg press, your lunges, all that good stuff. And then the second rotation, I would switch to like dumbbells on the chest, all your pull downs on the back. Legs, I would focus more like hamstrings. That way I would kind of just hit everything 2 times a week. And just, whatever I didn't get the first time, I would hit on the second time, that kind of thing. That was optimal for me.
Yeah. How many sets would you train? So on Monday, when you're doing chest and back, how many sets of chest, how many sets of back?
I typically always do 4 sets of each movement, but when I combine it like that, I would say I usually try to narrow it down to like 4 exercises each. And I would just superset both of them. Like, so if I was doing incline barbell bench, I would go like from there right to like a barbell row or like a seated row or something like that.
That's how I train arms. I do that exact same thing with arms. I usually do sets of 5, but I'll do like 3 by 12, and then I'll do 2 by 10, but it's a superset. Like I'll do a cable curl into a tricep push down or something along those lines. I typically train a lot higher, like volume in one day. So I'll only hit chest once a week, but I'll do 25 to 30 sets, sometimes even a little bit more, which is I don't like to go too far over 30, but I like to do that because that kind of gives me that like, all right, I hit this once and I'm honestly sore like 3 days after still. I mean, I hit it pretty hard. Yeah.
Yeah. That's high volume.
Yeah. Do you look at it as more of like the total on the week, or do you just kind of go like the day to day when you're looking at like your overall sets?
Now, currently?
Either or, yeah.
Now, currently, honestly, man, I'm just more like just getting a good workout. Just because obviously I only have about an hour, which, humbly speaking, is plenty of time, believe it or not. I mean, obviously, like guys like you and I that like to train high volume, we look at an hour as like not a lot of time, but I mean, you'd be surprised what you can get done when you're not looking at your phone every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? But so now I'm just currently just trying to get a good workout, as long as I'm hitting like 4 or 5 exercises, a couple drop sets here and there, I'm good, man. But,
Hmm.
before it was more like hitting every angle. Like that's kind of how I always looked at it. Like, so take back, for example, I
Mm.
would like have to make sure I'm hitting my upper back, my mid back, my lower back,
Mm.
my pulled, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was kind of attacking it like that. Like legs, I would have to make sure I'm hitting every single angle basically.
Hmm.
But now I just shoot for a good workout now, man,
Hmm.
just because of the
That's
limited
pretty
time.
much what I do is I'll do like, okay, I'll start with like a deadlift, and then I'll do a
Yep.
lat pull down, and then I'll do a barbell row, and then I'll do
Yep.
maybe a cable pullover or something like dumbbell
Sure.
pullover, something like that, and just kind of keep going. And I'm trying to give so in between, like I'll do a lat exercise and then a row exercise. This way I give my lats a
Right.
little bit of a break and then kind of go
Right.
back into it. And then it's
Absolutely.
kind of the same thing for everything. I like to run it like that to kind of sometimes recover a little bit too. Like for legs, I like to do two heavy things, like maybe a squat, leg press, and then go into like a light leg extension or a hamstring curl,
Mm.
and then come back
Hmm.
to a front squat or something like that.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
That
Absolutely, man.
you feel it after that. I did that today actually with one of my buddies. We did squat, lunge, and then did the adductors, abductors. I always call them the good girl, bad girls.
Absolutely, for sure. I don't know why guys don't like to do that machine, man.
It's good.
I think it's
I
amazing,
encourage
bro.
it.
Amazing. Absolutely. There's still guys that think that machine is specifically for women, and that's a whole nother conversation. But
I mean, let's have it because I was one of those people that like my knee was getting fucked up because I played hockey growing up. So I always
yep.
pushed and my knee started tracking wrong because the outside muscle was stronger. So, and I always was
Mm,
like, I'm not doing that fucking thing. Like, I'm
right.
not getting on that.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
I ended up having like a pretty bad knee problem for I don't know 6 months or so, where my patella tendon was just not holding my kneecap in place because my
Mm,
kneecap was getting pulled to the outside, and I was on crutches for a little bit. This was years ago, but I was
wow.
ever since then I started doing that, and I haven't had a problem since.
It's funny you say that because there's a guy at the gym that said ever since he started doing the adductor machine, he's had no knee pain.
Mm,
And I think that's such an underrated exercise, especially to strengthen the inside of your thigh. I forget what that muscle is exactly called, but
yeah.
um, yeah, man, like that I used to actually start there as a warm up,
Mm,
for my leg day, just to get your hips involved, just to, you know what I'm saying, just get
yeah.
some blood flow in those areas that you're going to be using that you're typically not targeting with like a squat or leg press, whatever the case may be.
Right.
But great machine, man.
Yeah.
Highly underrated.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. You mentioned warm up. So how do you like to take a warm up, whether it's with you or with a client? Do you kind of do the same thing with you and with clients, or do you make it different?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is funny now that I'm kind of getting older. I mean, I'm only 32, but I can't just walk in the gym anymore and just start start light on an exercise. So I take a good 10 minutes, man, to just head over to the turf. I'll do some dynamic warm-ups. Um, I don't even know what to call these things that I'm doing, but
Yeah, you make shit up as you go. That's why I always post my workouts on Instagram, and sometimes I'm like, nobody's gonna know what the fuck this means because I made this up. But whatever.
right.
Like, if
Yeah, I
if they
saw
have
what you
questions, they'll
posted
ask.
earlier, that long list of freaking all types of reps and sets. You guys be going crazy,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people can't really make sense of it because I'm just writing like I write it after too because I'm a big no phone in the gym guy, so I'm writing it
That's
after
good.
and like sometimes like fuck I don't know, did I do 5 or 6 of these? Like it's not always like
Right.
100% accurate, but I try to
Right.
keep it as accurate as I possibly can. But yeah, I make shit up all the time. Like when you have a cable machine, right, and you stand on the
Yep.
inside of it and you have
Yep.
like it's up high and you kind of curl in like that, I
Yep.
call those double action packed.
Double action packed, man. It's funny. I saw someone on like Instagram call that like a crucifix bicep curl. I don't
Yeah,
know,
people just make shit
man.
up for it.
Yeah, seriously.
I started calling it that when I was like 15. I was helping one of my buddies make a workout plan, and he liked that exercise, and he was like, "What do you call this?" I don't know. We just double action packed it is, and it's just been that ever since.
That's a good movement.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I seriously highly encourage warming up, man. Even if I'm doing upper body, I will still warm up my glutes, hamstrings, because all that stuff is tied into like your lower back.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just recent shoulder tweaks I've had, man. I typically definitely have to warm up, man. Just get the blood flowing, get the joints lubricated. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Even get your heart rate up, whether it's high knees, whether it's walking lunges, whether it's, lower back stretches, anything, man. I definitely don't walk in the gym and just start hitting weights.
Yeah. I
maybe
noticed
if you're in your teens.
Yeah. And I noticed too, sometimes even when you like, if you warm up, so what I typically do to warm up is I'll just do like, if I'm going to squat, I'll just squat really light for a few sets. Like that'll be how
Right.
I'll warm up. It works for me right now. I definitely think I'll probably have to start getting into the dynamic stuff as age progresses or whatever. But,
right.
And I'll notice like, I'll do 135 for a set of 10 or 12 or 15 or whatever. And it's like hard the first time. Like I'm like, oh shit,
It's
like
crazy.
What's going on right now? And then I'll do it the second time and it's easier. And then
Yep.
I'll put a little more on and it gets easier and easier until obviously you get to like your working sets or your hard, heavy sets.
Right.
But yeah, it's interesting how a warm up can actually help you perform better.
100%, man. And it's sometimes, I used to do that too. I mean, I actually typically say if I'm squatting, I would start with the bar and just do progressively get up to like 135 before I even like start my working sets, just to get like the movement down, like blood in the quads, stuff like that. But yeah, man, I would definitely not skip over the warm up process, man. No. It's just because sometimes you'd be surprised, man. You can actually tweak something, pull something on the lighter weights. It doesn't always happen when you're at your heaviest set or when you're maxing out or whatever the case may be. Sometimes something can go wrong when you're doing 135.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I just try to make sure my body's ready for whatever I'm about to put it through, and that's just what works for me. But I used to never do that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I mean, when I was a kid, no, I guess I still kind of am a kid to a lot of people, but yeah, I used to just go in and just start.
Yeah, man. Do your typical one of these, do one of these real quick. You know what I'm saying? And just get going. But,
for those of you listening and not watching, he just did the typical one arm to the left, one arm to the right, and called it good. That's funny. Do you have like a specific like cool down ritual, or do you do anything to like cool down? Are you like a hot tub guy, massage gun guy, anything like that?
Post workout or just like off, like afterwards, you're saying?
Well, both. Yeah, I guess the cool down for the workout and then post workout.
So typically I do 20 to 30 minutes on the Stairmaster post workout. So now currently I'll work out from 5 to 6. I'll train my client from 6 to 7, and then I'll hop on the stairs and do my cardio. That to me is kind of like how I kind of cool down and, get a little extra calorie burn. But as far as like recovery, I guess you can say, no, man, I have not yet gotten to the recovery stage of life as far as fitness goes. A lot of guys do the cryotherapy. I don't know if you guys have that out in New Hampshire, but that's like the deep freeze thing. I've never done it.
Seen it. I haven't done it. I had an opportunity to do it once at a fitness expo, and I didn't. And I kind of wish I did, just to see what it's like.
Absolutely, I've never experienced it. People say it's great. I never have done that, but I know people do that. There's this lady out in New Jersey. Her Instagram is the Stretch Boss. But she's like a recovery specialist if you're like injured. And I've gone to her a couple of times when I've had like shoulder pain or stuff like that. But typically I don't really do anything for recovery as far as like stretching, foam rolling, that kind of thing. But I should. And we all should, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those, you gotta find / make the time for it, because you're already running around trying to fit your workout in, and then you gotta spend some time warming up, spend some time cooling down, come home, do a foam roll or whatever. I mean, obviously having a home gym is a huge benefit, because I'll just bring the foam roller up to the living room, start talking to my wife or whatever after a workout and foam roll a little bit. I'm personally a huge proponent of the foam roller. I'll be honest, I should stretch way more than I do, but
Mhm.
foam rolling, I definitely enjoy a good foam roll. And it's something that doesn't take too long either. Like if you can just get one, 45 seconds to a minute really per muscle or
Right.
per leg, whatever you want to do is really all you need. Like you don't got to be down there for an hour and a half, you know,
That's true. Jamie does it all the time, like pretty much daily,
the foam
and
roller.
foam rolls every night. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It
I
feels
just
great. I mean,
I know.
I'll hear my back just sometimes
Yeah,
I'm like,
man.
oh yeah, that was a good one.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely something we all should do. Just like you had mentioned, stretching. That's one
Mm.
thing like nobody wants to do, but definitely something we all should be doing. But I
You said,
just
you had a show a little while ago. Are you currently like thinking about doing another one? Are you prepping for anything? Like current goals as far as fitness or anything like that?
yeah. So currently, fitness wise, for my goals, I am just more so tuned into training now. Um, I did two shows. My first show was 2019. I did an OCB men's physique show. I actually won first place. I got my pro card at that show.
Nice.
Um, yeah, man, it was great experience. The whole prep, all that good stuff, great experience. I did go on to do a pro show last year, actually, and that was very interesting. Once you get to the pro level, you start to see guys are like 6'5", stage weights like 200 pounds lean. Um, so that kind of like made me realize like I'm not going to make a career out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not knocking anybody that wants to do that. I have all the respect in the world for the industry and the sport alone and anybody that wants to go down that road. But for me personally, it's just not worth the time.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and I'm just speaking honest for anybody listening that, there's not a lot of money involved. And you truly have to be passionate about bodybuilding in the sport to continue doing that with little to no reward.
Mm.
Now, yes, you have the reward of saying, I dieted for 16 weeks. I'm at the typical best shape of my life. You get some great pictures, all that good stuff, but I don't think people really talk about the time and the eating and how much money you spend to even register for one of those shows and how much you're spending on food throughout those 16 weeks and just the sacrifices alone you're
Mm.
making to even get to look like that. You know
Mm.
what I mean? But again, great experience.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I went through that to even be able to have this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I just look at it as something that I did. I experienced it. It was great. I have nothing bad to say about it or anybody trying to do it. If anybody is out there that wants to do a show, absolutely. By all means, just understand that to make a career out of it may be very difficult.
Mm.
And me as a natural bodybuilder, um, someone who's not open to, taking drugs or steroids or anything of that. And also, I'm not knocking anybody doing that either. If that's something you do, that's awesome. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you want to take your career in the sport of bodybuilding to the next level, that is something you are going to have to consider.
Mm-hmm.
And just for me, I just don't want to go down that road just to enhance my body to compete amongst other people that are much larger than me. You
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
me, it was just something that I tried out. I excelled. It was cool, you know, and that's that. So for me, it was like, how can I transition my knowledge and fitness to something else
Mm-hmm.
rather than just doing shows? So now I'm like, all right, one of my good friends is a personal trainer. And a lot of people would always come up to me like, "Oh, you should train, whatever." Comment on my post and say, your content's really cool and informative, that kind of thing. So then I kind of started going for that. Started getting my I signed up for the NASM, started studying for that, got certified, and yeah, now I went down that path of the personal trainer path.
Mm.
Because it's something that I'm passionate about, and excuse me, obviously fitness, you and I know that there's only so much you can do if you're looking to generate some kind of income.
Mm.
Um, So it was just kind of like, why not put your passion into something where you can help people at the same time, change people's lives, and earn a little income on the side.
Mm.
So
I
that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I love just taking in a client and kind of like watching the progression, watching the transformation, and just seeing how much better they feel. I personally think fitness is the answer to any and all problems that you may have in life. I mean, whether it's financial, relationally, friends, family, like it can solve those problems because the lessons that you learn through it, if you do it with a purpose and if you do it disciplined and if you do it, quote, the right way,
Mhm.
then it can teach you some incredible life lessons. I mean, I thank everything in my life to God and fitness. You know,
Mm,
those are the two things that really got me to where I am. And I don't know, I just couldn't agree more. I think being a trainer is one of those things that you can't really explain like why it's so cool. It's like, oh yeah, you're just
right,
teaching people how to work out. Like, yeah, but you're changing people's lives at the same time. Like
right,
that's because especially like when I have clients or whatever, we're not just talking about like your diet, your exercise, and your sleep. Like we're talking about relationships, we're talking about
right.
finances. Like we're having good quality conversations that are developmental. God, I couldn't say that word. You know,
That's all right.
personal growth conversations, and those are the things that make a difference in people's lives.
Absolutely, man. And a colleague of mine actually said people are actually paying for that relationship. I mean,
Mm,
granted, obviously they want to get in shape and they want to change their goals, but they're hiring you to for that relationship, you know. And like you said, you know, it's all about developing that relationship, building that relationship, and that's how I feel like you get people to like you. You get people coming back. They'll
mhm,
tell people about you, and then you can grow your clientele that way. But that it is a very rewarding feeling when you are changing someone's lives and
mm.
and you see the progression, you know, you see the progress that they're making throughout the time that they're with you, and it's fun, man. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's definitely fun.
And I've also seen like major changes in a lot of my friends' lives. You know, I've friends I've met in recent years that I haven't necessarily grown up with that have kind of like come into my life, that I've come into their life. You know, we have these conversations and they've changed a lot since I've known them, a couple of them specifically that I'm thinking of. And they say all the time, like, dude, I can't even believe I am this way. Like, I can't even believe I've done this. Like, you know, I appreciate you helping me. And I'm like, listen, you're the one that does it. I just think that we don't teach information enough. Like there's
Right,
people are very selfish with information, I think. And that's one of the reasons I love doing this because it's just spitting out free information because
for
people will
sure,
get something and they think that they're going to be the only one to have this information so they can succeed and kind of keep everybody else down here. And I don't understand why we can't just all succeed. So I share everything that I can think of, that I can find out, that I learn. Again, that's why I love doing this, just to, and then to bring people on like you that have other information that I may not have. Now, you know, we could be teaching each other something, teaching the listeners something, and it just
for
kind of
sure,
snowballs. And then obviously when you take that into your clients, you know, you're teaching your clients something, you learn from your clients too. You know, I've learned plenty from my clients. It's
absolutely,
building relationships is a key part of it for sure.
100%, man. Couldn't have said it any better.
So a little bit ago, you mentioned you're natural, and I love that. I respect that a ton. I also am natural. I always say that. I always preach that. Do you feel a challenge sometimes, like competing? Maybe not competing, but do you ever feel that like, wow, if I was on this or if I did this, I would be here or there? Or do you just kind of ride the wave?
That's a good question, man. That actually never dawned on me. Like, you know, if I was if I was on something, you know, I could do this, or if I was on something, I could do that. Because you know what, man, I actually go to a gym that where a lot of people that are unnatural, you know, participate at.
Mhm.
um, and I just don't believe there's any upper hand. I mean, again, I'll just go back to if you're going to
What's that?
compete at the highest level in bodybuilding, it's something you have to do. So for me, it was just like cut and dry, like either you do this or you don't. But I was never pressured to even think like this is what I need to do.
Mm,
I just look at it like, okay, if that's what I need to do, then this sport is just not for me.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But no, I never looked at it in a way of like, man, if I just, you know, got on something, you know, I could be this big or be this strong or excel in this, space or anything like that. It's just it's never something that I even really considered. So no.
What makes you enjoy being natural? What makes you want to stay natural?
You know what, man? I just cannot ever see myself putting a needle in my rear end, man.
What about
um,
like pills or anything like that? Like I have a couple friends that do like the SARMs and stuff. Like what makes you not
yeah.
do that?
You know what, man? I just side effects, man. I just never
Mm,
hear anything. I never hear anything that's enticing besides, okay, yeah, you can take this and be stronger, or
mm,
take this and look a certain way, or achieve massive size. But none of that really matters to me. Like, I
mm.
mean, I look at it like, hey, man, for a natural person at 32 years old, like, if I could take my shirt off and have some nice abs and build a nice physique by eating chicken and rice and eggs and oatmeal,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna go down that road. Like, I don't have any dreams or aspirations of being this big macho man.
Mm.
So, and I think it also comes down to, I don't mind putting in the work. And a guy like yourself, you don't mind putting in the work, grinding out for years. You know what I'm
I love
saying?
it.
See which, yeah, that's what it's all about. Like, to me, steroids is just a shortcut. That's just the easy way out, and trying to maneuver around the discipline and the hard work that it takes to achieve a physique.
Mm.
And it's like, why not just see what you can do on your own, by dieting correctly, by showing up to the gym correctly, doing your own due diligence before you just decide, hey, I'm just gonna, get on a cycle,
Mm.
and then what? Because I know people that are on steroids that look like shit.
Yeah, I've know
No,
plenty of those too.
you know what I mean? No disrespect to them, but it's like, if you're not natural and you don't look good, what's the point of it? You know what I mean? So it's like, why not just do it natural? Just eat right, work
Mm.
out, and just see where your genetics take you.
Mm.
That's my thought process.
For me, it's just knowing that I did this all on my own. I
Right.
maybe it's an ego thing, maybe I don't know what it is, but for me, it's just knowing I'm here because of nothing else but me. I don't even use like I refuse to use a belt, wraps. I refuse to use like
Mm,
anything at all. If I'm pulling weight, it's all me. I- I'll do it barefoot or with shoes just to know that I can do both. Like I'm
mm,
like I guess mental. My friends say I'm mental about it, but I love knowing that because I mean I consider myself to be pretty good at it at this point, and knowing that
absolutely.
I'm there 100% on me. Like I won't take creatine. I won't. All I'll take is whey protein isolate and whey protein casein before bed, and water.
Mm,
No, or I'll put milk in the one before bed, but no like BCAAs. No, I don't even know what else there is. Honestly, like a pre-workout, I
right.
hate pre-workout. I don't take any caffeine, even tea caffeine. I don't drink green tea, like
Wow.
only white tea, just because and headphones too. Another one of my things. Won't use headphones in the gym because people
Man.
like, oh, my headphones died and I'm not gonna have a good workout. What the fuck do you mean you're not gonna have a good workout because your headphones die? Like, I don't know. I
Oh,
want like
wow.
I don't want anything at all to affect my workout except for me just I don't know being a bitch or whatever it may be. Like the only reason I won't be performing is because of me and me only.
That's awesome, man. That's the first time I've heard that. But yeah, that's an awesome perspective, man. Like, not ever wearing a belt, huh? Not ever
No.
wearing straps, anything like that. I like that mentality, man.
And I
Um,
used to, and because I was very curious, I was like, I don't understand why, because I didn't for a very long time. And then probably 2, maybe 3 years ago, I started trying it out. So I wore it a few times and I was like, okay, like I guess I can see the difference. But then you're not really like your core isn't building the way it
yeah,
would be building without that belt.
that's
And I
true.
was like, well, what happens if I need to do this and I don't have a belt with me? I just
That's
don't do
true.
it. Like it's not to me that just wasn't an option. So
Yeah,
does it mean I'll do a little bit less weight? Probably. I mean, I really don't
right.
know at this point because I haven't worn a belt in over a year and a half, maybe 2 years now. So,
That's awesome.
but yeah, I don't know. And I guess I'll use chalk too. I actually just did a podcast with James Hobson. He's the owner of Spider Chalk, and that's the only other thing I'll use is his chalk.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Hey, that's, man, I respect the mentality, man. And you know what? Breaking it down that way, yeah, wow, it makes a lot of sense.
Mm.
It makes a
I'm a
lot of
big
sense, man.
big Jocko Willick fan. His like extreme ownership mentality. I love that.
Mm,
I absolutely love that. Like I live that to a T. Like anything that happens is my fault. If I didn't pull this, my fault. You know, it wasn't because I ran out of pre-workout or didn't bring my headphones or, you know, whatever it may be.
yeah.
Like that's just, I don't know. Like I said, my friends say I'm mental, but I love that. And I,
But
I
you know
won't
what?
change that.
A lot of those things that you're not willing to do that some people feel like they have to do is all mental on them. You know,
Mm,
like if I feel like, for example, I have this bang right here that I typically drink every morning, 5 a.m., whatever. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I feel like I have to drink this thing just to
mm,
get my day going. And it's like people that drink coffee, like you said, you have no caffeine. It's just all natural, which is awesome. Or if it's a big back day and you don't have your belt, you just feel like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to pull what I need to pull. Or if I don't have my straps, my grip's going to go.
hmm.
And you know, it's funny you say that. That's all mental. Like you can
Yeah.
have just as good as a workout without any of that,
Hmm.
but it's just embedded in their minds that you feel like you need that in order to excel at whatever you're doing. So
Mm.
kudos to you, man. That's dope.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the bang. Do you sleep 8 hours?
Never, man. Oh
No?
my God.
Okay. That's my thing. Like
Oh
that's
my God.
probably why I'm not doing the caffeine because I make sure I get 7 to 8 a night and I feel incredible every day. I mean, I've done a few podcasts on sleep. Always refer people to Matthew Walker because it's one of those things where I like to just talk about the things that I do slash have done. I haven't
Yeah.
run lab studies on myself, but I know for a fact when I sleep 7 to 8 hours, I feel great.
You're at the top of your game if you get good sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what they say, man. And I think not making excuses, but it's so hard when you're getting up at 4 in the morning, bro.
Dude, I know.
You know what
I
I mean?
know.
Like, so for me, like sometimes I don't even get home till like 7:45. So it's like in order for me to get 8 hours, I would literally have to go to sleep by like 8 o'clock, which I just can't even. Sometimes I mean I get to bed like 9:30, 10 o'clock. If I can get six, that's like optimal for me, which
Yeah.
doesn't happen all, but I'm like in the like 5 to 6 hour range.
Hmm. Yeah.
Sadly, sad to say.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I don't have the studies, but I would definitely, I'll send you the podcast after. He was on, I think it was The Drive, Peter Attia, The Drive. Matthew Walker was the guest. He's the neuroscientist, sleep study guy. He's
Mm,
just a sleep genius. He's devoted his whole life to like researching sleep, and the way he talks about it is just phenomenal. And I learned so much. I actually have his book on my shelf. It's called Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. And I don't know. I feel
mm,
like if you read that, you would get 8 hours of sleep or seven at least.
man, you know it's funny you say it, man. It's funny. So quick story. I used to actually go to the gym 6:30 p.m. right
Mm,
after work. Used to go to work, go to the gym, and then I just made the life change to just start going in the morning.
mhm.
And it was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life, just based on like quality of life. Um, but once I made that switch, man, it was like, man, going to bed earlier to get up at 4. So now I'm so used to like staying up till like 11 o'clock, 11:30. Not that I do
Mm.
that now, but like for me to go to bed at 8:30, I just feel like, man, I'm just like I get home, hurry up and go to bed. I just can't do that for some reason. I have to like wind down a little bit, get my meal in. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it gets just relax a little bit. But um, no, man, sleep is definitely important. I can definitely never take that away. Um, I just can't find it in me to ever get to bed that early.
Yeah. So like
You
on
know?
during the week, I'll get up at 4:30 for work, and that means like 8:30 hits, and I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta get to bed. And usually, like, so if you set like the same bedtime and same wake time throughout the week, like, and not just
Yeah,
staying up till midnight on the weekends or whatever, your body, it's called your circadian rhythm, like it'll just naturally kind of fall into that. Like once like 8:30, 9 o'clock hits, I'll be out by 9 o'clock for sure if I lay
yeah,
down at 8:30, just because like my body knows, hey, time to go to bed. And a lot of
right.
days I'll even wake up like right before my alarm or a little bit before my alarm, which is what they
Yeah,
say is quote like ideal. And that's just because like you're rested, like you don't need to go back to sleep. Like sleeping 10 hours isn't good either. You know, like
no,
you really want that like 7 to 9.
you can like oversleep. Sometimes you sleep 10 hours, you're even more tired than you were if you were to sleep 4 hours.
Yeah, so he didn't maybe he did in the book. I didn't finish like the last like 20 pages of it because I felt like I got enough out of it and was excited to talk about it and tell people about it. I probably should finish it. But my wife is one of those people who like, she has a really weird schedule. So she'll work like overnight sometimes, and like her schedule's all over the place, and she'll try and catch up on sleep sometimes. And it'll be like, you can't, it's just not one of those things that you can catch up on. So she'll try and
No,
sleep like 10 hours, 12 hours. She'll get up and she's like, ugh, I feel terrible. So she started sleeping like 8 or 9. And she's like, oh, I feel much better. Like, this is good, you know?
absolutely.
But yeah, if you ever get a chance, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. Very good book. Very good book.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely tap into that.
Yeah.
Why We Sleep.
So what do you do as far as diet? I heard you mention the chicken and rice. I love
Oh
that.
yeah. So I eat the same thing every day. And I
Me
know,
too.
as you probably know with clients, man, that's the number one struggle I feel like most people have, is just getting a good diet, and
Mm,
a diet that they can stick with.
mm,
Because I feel like the best diet out there is one that you can stick with consistently.
yes.
Um, but me personally, I eat the same thing every day. So I have ground beef and rice, 90-10 ground beef,
Mm-hmm.
7 ounces of beef, cup of rice, meal one, right? I do meal two is 8 ounces of chicken breast, cup of rice. I do that twice. So that's 2 and 3, right? And then I have a bowl of oatmeal and 10 egg whites. That's it.
Man.
Yo, yes, 10 egg whites.
Oh, that's the whole day?
That's it. Yo, that's
Okay.
all I do. 4 meals, same thing every day. I do a protein shake in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I just get a gallon of water every day. Now, that's what I eat to basically maintain a relatively lean physique. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if I was looking to put on size, I could just add a little bit more rice. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if I was looking to cut down, as you know, I could just take off a little bit more rice. But
Mm-hmm.
I just keep that structure. And you know what? For me, two protein sources and rice all day and some oatmeal and eggs, that doesn't really kill the grocery bill.
Mm-hmm.
So I just stick with that, and that works for me. I don't get sick of it. I don't ever really feel like I need anything different. Sometimes I'll come home and snack on like almonds, or sometimes I'll throw in some little bad food or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
a couple Oreos or something. I am human.
Yeah.
But sometimes Jamie and I will go out on the weekend, like Saturday night, for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And if I ever do have a cheat meal, for anybody listening, this is what I do. I will replace the eggs at night with a cheat meal. If it's a burger and fries or whatever, I'll just replace one meal with that cheat meal. And it typically doesn't really throw me off track, but that's just for me to, her and I, just to enjoy ourselves for a night. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But for the
So the
most part, but that's it.
so the eggs are at night?
Yeah. So, what's funny? The only reason I do that at night is because I just don't feel like waking up that early to crack eggs in the morning.
I mean, I guess that's fair. So do
That's
you
the only
work out
reason.
fasted?
No, so I'll do the oat. Okay, I didn't mention it. I'll do the oatmeal before the gym.
Okay, okay.
I'll do the eggs at night. So
Okay.
then after the gym, I'll do the beef. Then I'll do the chicken throughout the day.
Yep. Okay. I got you.
So just a bowl of oatmeal pre-workout. Post-workout, I'll have the shake, and then all the meals, and then
Mm.
I'll just have the eggs right before bed.
So do you cook like all like for like, I don't know, Sunday or whatever? You just spend an hour or two in the kitchen, cook everything, and then it's done for the week?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
that's
And I believe I saw your post that you have the trays of
mm,
the Tupperware lined up. It's funny. I just started doing that, and you kind of definitely inspired me to do that.
I
Believe
love
it or
it.
not, I used to just make all the beef, all the chicken, and put it in like a big bowl,
Mm.
big Tupperware, and then weigh it out the night before. But then I like kept seeing like you posting like your meals for the week, and I'm like, I don't know why I do not do that. Like I could just wake up and grab my food. Like, so
It's
now
so
I do it that
convenient.
way. It really is. And
Yeah.
even if it takes like 5 minutes to weigh your food out the night before, that is amazing to just wake up, grab your meals out the fridge, and leave.
Not to mention, so I can't stand doing fucking dishes. I hate them. Hate dishes.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
And
not a big
all
fan.
I'll do is I'll open the dishwasher, I'll rinse my little thingy, and I'll just throw it in there, and it's done.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely.
Because I'll wake up. I mean, My workout times are different depending on if I'm at work or not. Cause if I do go to work, I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. So
Mm.
I'm not working out before that. I ain't waking up before 4:30. That's kind of my
I
limit.
don't blame you. I don't blame you.
On the weekends and shit, I'll wake up like ideally, if I could pick my schedule, it would be 9:30 to 5:30. I would love to sleep 9:30 to 5:30 every day. That would be like 100% ideal to me.
Yeah.
One day we'll get there. Hopefully one day soon. But so I'll wake up, I'll do 5 eggs, the whole egg, a handful of diced up ham and a wheat bagel, and then maybe a glass of milk or a yogurt or something like that for a little extra something. And then
Mm.
after that, the chicken and the chicken starch. Well, I guess before that, I'll have a yogurt with almonds for sure. After with either a Lenny and Larry's cookie or a banana, something like that. And
Mm.
then I'll go into the chicken, which is 9 ounces of chicken, 3 or 4, depending on
Mm.
the size of them, red potatoes and green beans. And that's 3 of those a day.
That's it.
And then,
That,
yeah, pretty much that's it. And then I'll have a shake before bed and after the gym. And then at some point again, I'll eat that yogurt and banana / Lenny and Larry cookie, or maybe an extra bagel, something like that for carbs.
now let me ask you. So I noticed obviously you post all your meals for the week, and by you mentioning that this is what you eat on a day-to-day basis. Did you come up with this diet per se for you to look the way you do now, or like basically like how did you come up with the idea to eat that to look like how you do now, if that makes any sense?
So, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. So I've been training for God, probably 8 years now. I mean, I've been into the gym since I was a kid. I actually looked the other week. I still go to the same gym, and it said I signed up like 14 years ago. I was
Oh
like
wow.
10, so, but obviously I wasn't like hitting the weights high. I was like walking in with my
Sure.
father maybe, or going to they had a kids gym at the time. So I would like go in there like and really do nothing. You know what I mean? Like you're 10 years old, you're not doing much. But
Oh yeah.
so I've been playing around with a lot for a long time, and one of my best friends, he was kind of like my trainer growing up. He was a little older than me. He was like a certified trainer, everything, and we got along really well. We worked together, and then we started hanging out more, and we kind of became like really close. And he would like do that. He would do that shit with his meals. He was like very serious about his workouts, and he wrote me a couple meal plans a few times. So I saw like okay, and he just told me, you want to put on more, eat more. All right, cool.
Mm.
And then I realized, so what I used to do, this is probably a year and a half ago. I've been doing the chicken, potatoes, green beans for probably close to a year now. Before that, I would do like salmon and ground beef and chicken. And the problem I had with that was it just took too long to cook. Because
Yeah.
you're over the stovetop with the salmon or whatever the hell it is,
Hmm.
the ground beef, and then you're on the grill with the chicken, and it was just too much to keep
Yeah.
up with like cooking like that. Yeah, there's a little more
Hmm.
flavor to it, but I'm not here for the flavor,
No. No,
So
I can completely agree.
yeah. So and then I heard I forget his name, huge bodybuilder. He just says, you know what I do? I eat like a fucking dog. And I was like, oh, I love that. And it's just the same thing every day. And I was like, yeah, cool,
Yeah.
works for me. So
Absolutely, man. That's cool, man. Because uh, man, if I could give anybody some kind of advice out there listening, man, figure out what you can eat every single day. That saves you the most time, that saves you the most money,
mm,
that is the most effective. And I think the other problem a lot of people have, like you said, you're not really eating for taste. Like, and I feel
mm,
the same way. And I think anybody like you and I that take nutrition very seriously, we're not eating for taste. We're eating to just put what our body needs inside of us to look a certain way,
mm.
realistically. I think you can totally relate. You're not necessarily eating chicken and potatoes because you love chicken and potatoes. Granted, I'm sure you think it's good.
Yeah.
You don't mind it,
Mm.
but yeah, that's not the whole purpose why you're eating it.
There are
You
some
know?
times where I'll crack open the lid and I'm just like, oh God, here we go again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
overall, so I get my chicken from a butcher just because it's a little bit better for you.
Nice.
It tastes a little bit better. The meat's a little bit more tender, and
Yeah.
I like supporting local like that. So I'll go to a
That's
butcher
awesome,
for
man.
my chicken. So it's not terrible because I used to like I would do the like Walmart or Market Basket or Hannaford. I don't know what you
Hmm.
guys may have, but
Oh
like
yeah.
that kind of chicken. And I would soak it in buffalo sauce. And that was the only way I could put it down. And even then I was like,
Mm.
this sucks.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel you, man.
So,
Absolutely.
so to me, it was worth it to spend a little bit more going to a butcher and be able to stomach it and not have an issue like putting it down every day, 3 times a day.
Right. That's
But
cool, man. That's cool, man. It's
hmm,
always interesting to hear like what other bodybuilders eat or
yeah.
what other trainers may eat just to look the way they do. Because you're pretty lean, man. I don't know if you are you competing at all? Are you prepping for anything, or you just like to keep it lean?
I always like to keep it lean. I don't do like the bulk and cut stuff. I've never
Right.
done like a bulk. I always like to stay lean year round. Um,
Yeah.
for me, I don't know. I've always liked that look. I like the feeling better. And also kind of going back to what I was saying earlier with the I don't want to like be dependent on something. Well, if I walk into the gym and I'm, say I'm 170 to 175 right now. If I'm
Mm,
185 and I'm deadlifting 500 or whatever, and then I cut back down and I can't pull 500 again, I'm going to be pissed,
mm,
So like
mm,
that's the kind
mm.
of shit that I don't want to go through that because I like taking the wins in the gym, looking good, seeing my weights go up and up and up and not ever having that like cut back. So
Yep.
that's kind of why I just do that. I gain probably 5 pounds ish a year. Is my recent track. Obviously, that's going to stop or slow down. I'm 24, about to be 25, so that's
Mm.
not that's not going to stay like that forever, I imagine.
No, no. That's all right.
But yeah, that's why I
Um,
do that. And then as far as a show, I do have a friend who's on a pretty big weight loss journey right now, and I told him I'll step on a stage with him in April if he wants to, up in Maine. So
good for you, man.
I think that'll be my first one. I
Nice.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Men's physique? Classic?
Honestly, I don't even know the categories. I've just told it's OCB. I said, all right, let
Yeah,
me
yeah.
know.
So OCB is natural. If you hear NPC, that's not tested. So if you are not natural, you can compete in
Mm,
NPC. OCB is just all natural.
okay.
But
Yeah.
men's
So,
physique, that's what I did. That's where they don't judge your legs. But I don't know what your legs look like. If you have nice legs, go for classic.
well, you're in shorts, right? So, I mean, what do they really? They
Yeah,
just look at
yeah.
your calves.
You exact, but they don't judge them. So men's
Ah,
physique
okay.
is only judged upper body.
Hmm.
Um, Classic is where they wear like the speedos or like the short compression shorts.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's when they're judging like your legs, quads, all that good stuff. But men's physique is just upper body.
Huh. I didn't
Board
even know. I
shorts.
had no idea there was even a difference.
Oh yeah.
Hmm. That's interesting.
Yes,
Good thing
sir.
I know that now instead of just walking in there like, yeah, I don't know. Sure. Put me down for that one. I'm one of those people, like,
Absolutely.
if I'm not invested in it, I just don't like, I just go do whatever people want me to do. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
he's my best friend. So just like for him to want to do this, I'm like, all right, let's do it. Cause he has another guy who always does like OCB and we were going to start talking more closer to it. Like he told me like, you don't really need to prep. Just don't screw up what you're doing now and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like you maybe
Yeah,
prep a
you're
couple
solid,
weeks
bro.
out. So
Absolutely. You wouldn't need like a 16-week deal or anything close to that.
yeah, that's kind of what he's been doing it his whole. He's like 50, so he's been doing it his
Oh
whole
wow.
life. And he was like, "Yeah, you'll be fine. Don't just
Yeah.
when we get closer, we'll talk." And all right, sounds good.
Bro,
So
you could hop on stage next week the way you look, bro.
yeah,
Honestly.
see, I
Absolutely.
don't know, like I don't really pay attention to those things. I'm so fucking busy. Like watching what they're doing on
Yeah.
stage is just not on my list of things to do right
No,
now.
no, I totally understand.
But
That's like something I don't even I actually don't even really pay attention to the sport, but I saw a couple clips of the Olympia the other weekend, but I'm really not invested into that either, to be
yeah,
honest.
I dude, me neither. I just kind of I do my thing, like
Yeah,
I talk to my friends about it all the time. I love having like these conversations, like I'll do
sure.
this any day of the week, but to go watch I guess if I was to watch somebody though, it'd be Kai Green. I've always really liked him.
Oh man. I wish he would come back, man. I wish he
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really wish he would, but I don't see it happening, which is fine.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. Let me circle back a little bit to diet because I know you mentioned
Yeah, let's
something
do
that
that.
was very human of you, and that was like, there's times where you'll have the Oreo or whatever. I want to kind of
Absolutely.
focus on those cheat meals or cheat days or so first off, yeah, what do you do? Do you do a cheat meal or a cheat day, or do you just eat clean and then whenever you feel like an
Mm.
Oreo, you have an Oreo?
So typically I have a cheat meal on Saturdays. Um, Sometimes I'll even go into Sunday, but um, typically Jamie and I will go out to dinner on a Saturday night and just kind of have whatever.
Mhm.
But again, my biggest thing, and I got this from my coach when I was prepping. Anytime he would tell me to have a cheat meal, he would make sure to get all of your meals in prior to that cheat meal. So you're at least still getting your macros in, and then you're
Mm.
just adding that cheat meal is actually being added to your diet. Whereas some people, I have a friend of mine who maybe will have breakfast, doesn't eat the rest of the day, and then will just crush like a whole pizza at the end of the night. So you know what I mean? So some people will like plan it like that, like just
Mhm.
have a big cheat meal, but not eat any kind of nutritional value throughout the day. So I just try to make sure I get all my meals in except the eggs, as I mentioned, and
Mhm.
then I'll just replace that with a cheat meal. But during the week, I try to keep it pretty strict.
Mm.
Um, I'll always get those meals in. I mean, maybe one day out of the week, and that's not consistently. I may fall asleep and not get the eggs in at the end of the night, but
Mhm.
my protein is pretty high enough to where even if I don't get those eggs in, it's whatever. But
Yeah.
um yeah, sometimes man, I'll come home and snack. I'm not gonna lie, I have a little bag of almonds right here, but
Mm.
um I try to keep it semi-healthy. Sometimes I may grab like a fig Newton or something, or
Yeah.
I may have a bowl of cereal at night, or whatever. But I think, how do I want to say that? I think based on how consistent we are with our diet,
Mm.
like including you, I don't know how routines you are, but someone who looks like you, myself, whatever, you're eating the same thing every single day. You're hitting your cardio, you're hitting your workouts, whatever the case may be. You can get away with eating a cookie here and there. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, and the experience I took from the show, that's when you are super strict. Like, you cannot have an Oreo. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like, literally, you cannot have one cookie,
Mm.
or you have to do an extra 20 minutes of cardio because your coach said. And I was like the honest client. Like, I would tell him, like, hey, I had this, and then I would get penalized for it. Didn't happen
Mm.
often, but I had that experience. So it's like taking dieting to the extreme of getting ready for a stage or getting ready for the stage really showed me, like, okay, you don't necessarily have to do that to look a certain way. Like, you can at least get your meals in that will look or will make you look like that,
Mhm.
and you can still live like semi-normal, I guess you can say, quote
Yeah.
unquote. um but yeah, I'm a cheat day or cheat meal kind of guy. um I never had a full-blown cheat day. I think that's just kind of that's a little too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
To
do that
just,
either.
yeah, just to just pig out breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
shout out to the people that do that though. But yeah, man, I'm more of a cheat meal kind of guy, and just try to keep it strict throughout the week, man. One day
Mm.
a week I'll have a nice meal.
Yeah, that's what I'll do too. I'll do a cheat meal, maybe two, and the one will be a breakfast, one will be a dinner. And I
Mm,
honestly, man, I'm very like, I mean, I eat the same food every day, right? So my cheat meals are the same shit every week too. If I'm gonna do the two, it's gonna be chocolate chip pancakes, and the second one is
mm,
either a chicken parm or buffalo chicken. So it's not
nice.
even like bad, like
It's not even that bad.
I never eat, like, you're not gonna see me eat cake. You're not gonna see me drink a soda. You're not gonna see me eat like even cookies. Like the Lenny and Larry's cookie is the closest thing you're ever gonna see me eat to a cookie.
Right,
But I guess like you said, man, there's nothing wrong with it. For me, it's the discipline. Like I just like knowing that I'm
right,
disciplined, and that's carried over to so many other aspects of my life. When my wife's working extra or working overtime, I know, hey, I got to take care of the house, or hey, I got to step up on dishes or whatever it may be, and there's days where I come home and I'm like, I don't want to do the fucking dishes. Like I hate the
right.
dishes, but okay, I
Absolutely.
got to do this for my wife, so it helps relationally, financially, like all those other things. And I feel like the diet is that thing that you have a choice every single day. Every single day there's a temptation somewhere, and you have that choice
Absolutely.
to indulge in it or kind of look past it and say, "No, I'm gonna stick to this. I'm gonna stay disciplined, stick to my plan." And I feel like the more you do that, the more it just carries over. So that's kind of
I
my
agree.
reason. Like, I don't think I honestly think like I could go eat a cake right now and it would do a little bit, but it wouldn't do much. I'd probably feel like
Sure.
shit. That's for sure. But
Yes. Wouldn't change much of your physique.
Yeah. I mean, maybe for a day, and then it would just be right back to normal. But
Yeah, man. And you know what? For the listeners out there, I'll say this, man. For if you're in shape, I truly believe if you have already reached your goals as far as what you want to look like, that's why I'm saying you can afford to have, if you want to stop and get a donut, fine. You know what I'm saying? If you put in the time and the effort and the hard work to achieve a physique that you're happy with per se, sure, go out and have that. But if you're on the road to losing 50 pounds or whatever your goal may be, you're on a serious weight loss journey. I don't think it's in your best interest to think you can afford to snack and have whatever that you have been having
mm,
to put you in the situation that you're currently in prior to you wanting to lose weight. If that makes sense.
mhm.
So just don't think that you can have, you know, McDonald's, burger, whatever the case may be, on your weight loss journey when you haven't really accomplished your goal yet.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't enjoy yourself here and there, but you really need to be strict 80-20 rule kind of deal
Mhm.
80% of the time if you really want serious results, whether you have a trainer, whether you are just doing it on your own. You really have to have that discipline, like you said, and look past those temptations if you really want to get the results you're looking for.
Mm.
It's a different story when you've already achieved that. You're lean, whatever, you're happy with the way you look and you want to treat yourself, fine. But just don't think you're going to continue on eating the way you've been eating and achieve, you know, serious results, like whatever the case, whatever you may be looking
Mm.
to do.
I think
That's
that's
just my
pretty well
opinion.
said. Yeah. I think I'd agree with that. That's pretty well said. Like I said, the only reason that I don't treat more is just the discipline aspect of it for me,
Sure.
but I think that that's, you sum that up pretty well. If you haven't hit your goal yet, then yeah, you need to be strict. You need to be disciplined. You can't afford that slip up or that cookie or whatever.
Right.
But eventually you get there and you can't afford it. And then it's almost more rewarding too, right? Like,
Absolutely.
hmm. What would you say to somebody that is like trying to start? They're one of those people, oh, I just can't. I want to do it, but I can't. Like, what do you tell those people?
Man, if they're trying to start on their own, um,
Or client, whatever it may be.
and we're talking diet, right?
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I try to tell people that are just starting out, and I mentioned this earlier, is you have to find foods you like to eat. You have to find things that you can be consistent with. It's basically unrealistic to tell someone you have to eat chicken and rice 5 times a day in order to achieve what you're looking to do. Because and as you know, someone who's not about this lifestyle, that's just entering this lifestyle, that's not even realistic.
It's
You know
one
what
of the
I'm
biggest
saying?
turnoffs for them they could ever
Yeah.
imagine.
And it's funny, me and my buddy joke around. Nobody wants to eat chicken and rice. like, like not for nothing. It's the most simplest formula out there to lose weight, but nobody wants to do it. You
Or
know,
gain too,
or
it's
gain. Absolutely,
chicken and rice is the bread and butter, it is the
literally.
gold standard.
Yes, I will say on air right now, if you want to lose weight or gain weight, you can eat chicken and rice.
Yes.
And whatever goal you have in life, fitness wise, chicken and rice is your answer. But nobody wants to eat it. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I hate to break it to you. Everybody wants to, you know, try fad diets. Everybody wants to try 1,000-calorie diets, cleansing, juicing, 500-calorie diets, whatever. And I'm not knocking any of that, but it's not sustainable. Chicken and rice is sustainable. I hate to
Yeah.
break it to you, but sorry. Anyway, we'll get back to that.
No, absolutely. I mean,
But
listen, I will say with no remorse, like, yeah, those diets are dumb. 90% of the time they're dumb. Like,
literally,
if it works for you, whatever. But 90% of the time, I'd say it doesn't even work because you're just trying
no,
something that somebody else found worked for them. Like, you got to find what
right,
works for you. Kind of like what you were saying, you got to find those foods that you enjoy eating, or at least don't mind eating, right? Like the
correct.
chicken and rice. I like to tell people, like, I like to start, you can't just jump into this 7 days a week. You're gonna be
No,
done by week 2. Like I say, you
literally.
know, eat a healthy breakfast every day for one
Yeah,
week, and then after that, eat a healthy breakfast and lunch every day for 2 weeks. And then after that, eat a healthy breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then if you got to adjust meals or whatever, you can work off
mm,
that, like obviously depending on the person, depending on their current level or whatever, if they're losing or gaining, you can adjust that, or, if you're adding exercise in there, obviously exercise 2 days a week and then 3 days a week and then 4 and then add diet or whatever it may be. There's so many ways
right,
you can play that, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. And a lot of people
for
want that
sure.
like overnight. Hey, give me, I go nuts when people are like, give me the best supplement for weight loss. First
Oh
off, I
my
wouldn't
God.
know, right? Like I've never been
Oh,
fat, so I'm not even the person to ask for that. Like people just see somebody with a six pack and think this guy knows how to lose weight. It's actually the opposite most of the time.
right, right.
But
Man,
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
no, I like how you brought that up and said like how you would recommend easing into it, whether it's eating a healthy breakfast once a day, for a week straight. I think that's actually wow. That you just taught me something.
Yeah,
And
I've seen it work, That's the reason
yeah,
I've done it myself. I've done it with, my wife, my friends, clients. I've seen it work. And
right,
it takes the excuse out of it. Like you're going to tell me you can't eat a healthy breakfast for one day, 2 days this week, like don't
right.
it takes every excuse out. I even like I, I guess kind of like an asshole, but not trying to be an asshole. I'll break down the hours in the week. You got 168 hours. Okay. Take
Yeah,
off and I'll stretch everything. I'll be like, say you work 50 and then say you drive for 10 of those. And then say you're sleeping for 8 of those. And mind you, most people aren't even doing those. And I'm like, you still have X amount left. And they're like,
right.
oh, well,
Yeah,
this. I'm like, no, you're on your damn phone. You're scrolling through TikTok or whatever the hell it may be. You're flipping through Netflix. Like you can do it.
that's true. That's true. If their mind is set to it, you can definitely do it. And it's funny you say that because someone who's just starting, as you know, they already have bad habits as far as eating,
Mhm.
So by you saying like, even just start with breakfast, you're just I like how you brought that up because however they can just ease into it, whether it's someone who drinks soda, even just cutting that out. Let's just start there. Like
Mm,
stop drinking soda, or
yeah.
maybe let's switch to seltzer, whatever. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Or if, as you know, most people are not even eating 3, 4 meals a day.
Yeah.
Some are lucky enough to eat one or two. So, just by adding in just one thing that can change, and they'll even see results from that alone,
Mhm. I
just
know.
because it's something different. They're used to eating 1,200 calories or 2,000 calories of just straight junk
Mhm.
or whatever. And now if you just add in maybe a healthy breakfast, even that gets them in a routine and gets them
Mhm.
feeling better. So that's cool, man. I like that. I like
Yeah,
that a
and it
lot,
also
actually.
adds that sense of accomplishment too, right? Like, hey, I woke up 10 minutes earlier to cook myself
Right,
eggs or whatever, and I'm starting my day off right. And you just
right.
brought up something that I want to hit on too. Something I would say probably close to 70% of the population doesn't eat 3 meals a day, which
No,
in my mind is pretty crazy. But I know
right.
people that live off Pop Tarts. I'm like, what? Like
Oh yeah.
goldfish, Pop Tarts. Like there isn't even a meal in there. It's just
No,
junk. Like,
no. Yeah, it's true. And it's you're right. It's more people than the average for sure.
mm, yeah,
Definitely.
it's like those are things that I didn't even think about. Like when I started like trying to help people with this, I was like, oh, just eat this, this, and this. And I'm like, so what do you? Or asking people, what do you eat now? Like, dude, I don't even know what
Right.
some of this shit's called. Like currently, like
No.
I used to know like the Cheez-Its and Goldfish. That was what I had like as
Yeah.
a kid growing up. Like they got all
Yeah.
sorts of shit out there now.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's
But
crazy.
yeah.
It's so true, man. People are lucky enough to get one meal in a day, a full blown meal. You know, and you'd be surprised how many people wake up and maybe just have a coffee and don't even eat anything until like 2 in the afternoon.
I know.
Which I would be like literally like passing out if I ever did that.
I'd go mad. Yeah. And for anybody out there saying like, oh yeah, where would I find the time to cook 3 meals a day? You don't. You cook on Sunday. Like I do my whole
Right.
meal prep in like 2 hours tops. Let's
Yeah.
cook, clean everything. I have it down to a
Absolutely.
science at this point, but it wasn't always the case. It was like, I used to do Sunday and Wednesday just to break it up a little bit because
Yeah.
I was doing like 4 hours because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Now I
Right.
just cut the bag of chicken open, dump it on the grill, spread it out and let it go,
Done. Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you.
yeah.
I'm
And
with you.
it's so much more effective. There's, and back to my point there, if you're one of those, I don't have the time people, I would 100% challenge you to take your 168 hours every week and just start breaking it down day by day. Count your driving, count whatever BS you want to count. And if you hit 168, my mind will be blown.
Yeah,
You have
seriously.
time. You have time to do it. It's a matter of prioritizing, because
For sure.
if whatever social media is a priority to you because you got a business or whatever, like I'll admit, like there's a lot of my time, I wouldn't say a lot actually, but there's definitely time that I spend on social media, but I'm trying to use it intentionally, growing a page, growing a way to get clients, or growing a business, like stuff like that, reaching out to
Absolutely.
people, like that obviously is beneficial, and obviously you need downtime, you need personal time, whatever it may be. For me, that's guns. I've said that millions of times. Like shooting guns is my
That's your thing,
headspace.
man.
Yeah.
That's all
What
right.
do you do?
It's funny, man. I, lately, I've just been so like busy with the training and work that I just come home. Any time of free time I get, I just try to spend it with Jamie. Honestly,
Yeah.
if
Well,
I
that's
can,
huge too.
yeah, if I can just even spend an hour with her, whether it's just eating dinner at home or just
Mm-hmm.
watching a show, like that's basically where I'm at, man. Because sometimes I just get home so late, and she likes to go to bed early, that I just try to get any kind of free time I get to just spend with her, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, on the weekends or anything like that. But I mean, I used to be like, prior to when I used to just work out and work, I used to just come home and be on the video game, be that
Yeah.
kind of guy, or
Some
you know what
kind
I'm
of hobby.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to, crush weed here and there, I'm not gonna lie. That'd be like my little thing. But now I'm just, honestly, now, um I'm like big on podcasts, man.
Mm.
It's funny, and here we are on a podcast. So Earn Your Leisure. I'm not sure if you ever heard of them, but
Yep.
shout out to them.
They were just on Bigger
Um,
Pockets recently.
wow, okay, good to know. Earn Your Leisure. Um, I have been listening to them. I actually saw a Breakfast Club interview about them, and that kind of turned me on to that. So I'm like really into like the financial literacy space. I
Mm.
just started like about a year ago. I started getting into stocks and stuff, and it kind of, I like love it, man. I'm like
Mm.
obsessed with it now.
Yeah, me too.
So good for you, man. And so I came across them, and I actually just went to their podcast on Spotify, and I went to episode 1 and just have been running it all the way through. I'm up to like 105. I think they have like 160 right now or something like that.
Damn.
So any type of free time, that's why, like, while I'm driving, I'm just listening to them, or any type of, I'm on like YouTube at night watching like stock videos or
Mm.
fitness videos. Like, now it's funny, and you can probably relate. I'm not sure what you do fitness wise, but I've kind of shied away from like watching like your Simeon Pandas, your Mike Rashids, or
Yeah.
whoever you like to watch on Instagram or YouTube. Not that they're not doing anything valuable, but now I'm just kind of more so like, I want to learn how to be a better trainer,
Mm.
or learn how to be a better investor. So any kind of free time, like even if like Jamie goes to sleep, I'll sit on the computer and just try to learn.
Mm.
So my free time now is just more so trying to educate myself on, you know, functional movements, or what to do with a client, or how to read a chart on on the stock market, or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. So I'm like big on like educating myself now in life, as to where before I would be like to come home, the video game, that kind of thing. But now I try to really like apply myself
Yeah.
to being a better individual. That's
And
where I'm
learning's
at in life.
fun, learning's like, I enjoy learning too. I'm a big, huge podcast guy. I mean, that's kind of why I started my own. I just feel like there's so much information out there. And like I said before, a lot of people are selfish with it, and some people just don't know where to find it. I always
That's
try to
true.
tell people where I'm listening to stuff. Like Bigger Pockets has been my thing recently. They're real estate investing. That's kind of where I'm trying to
Mm,
go next. I've been into the stock market now for about a year, maybe a year and a half. Definitely taken some
nice.
L's in there. I've had some wins, some pretty good wins.
Hey
I've
man.
definitely had a few
Hey,
L's.
we've all been there, bro. You can't.
Yeah.
I hate to cut you off, but you can't learn anything without taking them L's, man.
Mm.
Those are the biggest lessons you'll ever learn is those losses.
And it was a valuable lesson too. It was a good one too. It was a pretty
Good.
big L for me at the time because I had just started and I was like,
Yep.
oh, this stock is this is going. It was Workhorse.
Yep.
I don't know if you've ever heard.
Oh yeah, I was in
WKHS.
there.
You
Absolutely.
were, dude.
I
I
was in
was on
there.
that train for so long. I was on it when it was like 18 a share, and then
Yep.
it obviously went up to like I think 43 or
40
45.
bucks. Yep.
And I
Yep.
was like, oh, they're definitely getting this contract. So I just put in more and more, and then they didn't, and it just plummeted.
18 bucks.
Well, yeah, it went down to like 13 and then 7 and then back up to 18. And
Yep.
I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna sell this because like obviously biggest mistake ever. But I was like, this money is gonna sit here for so long before it ever comes back. I might as well try and make back somewhere else. So I put it in like some battery company. But oh, dude, that hurt. That was a few grand actually.
Yeah.
That one was
No, I can totally relate, bro. And it's funny, I worked for the post office, so like I was definitely like involved with Workhorse just because I
oh
worked for the
yeah.
post
Damn.
office. So I thought, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna get that contract as well. And then what is it, like Oshkosh or somebody got that
Some
contract.
just bullshit company. Yeah. And it's funny
Yeah.
if you watch like who bought shares when there was a bunch of people that bought shares like right before. I was like, you like, come on, you
Yeah,
know,
they knew.
like, what
It's
happened there, you know?
right, right.
Uh,
But hey, you live and you learn, man.
yeah. So now I try to stick no more. I usually range 500 to $1,000 per single stock. Like if it's a mutual fund, whatever. But when I
Sure.
do single stocks, I'll cap myself at 1,000 because I don't want to take another $2,000 loss like that.
Yeah, man. You got to mitigate risks, man. And there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yep. That's cool though.
That's
It's funny
dope, man.
how people that are into fitness are also kind of into similar things. I feel like if you weren't in New York, you'd probably be into guns too.
Possibly. Yeah. You know, it's funny. It's funny you say that. I never really experimented with that.
Yeah.
But it's never really been around me growing up.
Yeah.
Do you hunt?
No, actually, that was something James and I were talking about the other day. Was he hunts with a bow or whatever. I've never been hunting. I never have a desire to. I actually really love animals. Like I'm a huge animal guy. I'm definitely not like one of those advocates, but like we got a ton of bird feeders out there. We got game cameras set up to watch. We have deer in our yard all the time, and I don't know. We love watching animals. We've had bears come through our yard, so it's
Dope.
cool. I'm a huge animal guy. I couldn't kill one, maybe a squirrel because he was eating my damn bird seed the other week, but haven't yet. My wife told me, don't you dare. And I said, yeah, I guess you're right. He's just trying to eat too, but
Absolutely. Do you have a military background?
I do. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate your service, brother.
Thanks,
Where'd you
man.
serve?
Yeah. What's that?
Where'd you serve?
Coast Guard.
Good for you, man.
So sort of,
Is
I
that
used
where,
to do like boardings and stuff. So it wasn't,
Yep.
I actually like people like, oh, Coast Guard. I know them. Like I've actually never experienced like that Coast Guard. I did like boardings and stuff like way down south, back in the 1819 era.
Do you
But
is that where you got your gun hobby from, or is that just something you've always
no, I've
been
loved it
interested in?
since I was little. And my mom's like huge, like against guns, like hates them. I mean, I remember the day I turned 18, I bought my first AR. The day I turned 21, I bought my first pistol. And I since I was 15, you know, I grew up playing Call of Duty and I was like, this shit's pretty cool. You know, like I like this a lot. And I had my buddy that was my trainer. He was into guns too. So he kind of like taught me like the gun safety, kind of the basics. We went shooting a few times. And then, yeah, I just kind of always liked it. I used to play like airsoft, paintball. And I was like, this would be fun on like with like a real gun, you know, a real boom, a real bang. And yeah, I got into it, kind of learned about it. Obviously, do it safely. You know, there's a lot of people that you see their videos and you're like, holy shit, this guy's gonna kill somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool.
That's cool.
Definitely, yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's a fun hobby.
Whatever drives you, man. Whatever takes the edge off, right?
Yeah, it's just one of those things like, and now, so I have a range in my yard now. And that was one of those things that I've always kind of wanted. I've always kind of dreamed of like a gym and a range on my own property, and finally was like able to complete that goal. And it's so different now, like having a range back there. Cause when you go to a range, like indoor, I absolutely hate indoor shooting. I refuse to go at this point because it sucks.
Really?
You're in a little lane. It's probably the length of 2 of your laptops. And there's a piece of cardboard in front of you and you just shoot the same piece of cardboard. You can't move. You can't do reloads. You can't do anything. So now I'm in my yard and I'm like walking, I'm dropping mags, putting new ones in. I'm like trying to move like side to side.
Mm,
And it's definitely like a lot harder than you would think. Like you watch like Call of Duty or whatever, like, and when you play COD, you just, you look down the sight and you move and the sight just stays there, like not even close to real life. As you
right,
move, that thing's
right,
bouncing like this, and you got to learn
right.
how to only move your lower body. It's really cool. I have a lot of fun with it now.
That's awesome, man. So there's a lot of progression going on in that.
Oh yeah, no, it's not something you just like jump into and you're nailing stuff. Like it's difficult, you know. I mean, I have like different optics will help with different things. You know, I have pretty much,
Right.
I have anything from pistol to rifle to shotgun to hunting rifle, like really long. I have a 1,000-yard rifle now. That thing's pretty sick.
Holy
Um,
shit.
but yeah, like all that stuff is different skill set. You know, like I'm best with my AR for sure, better than anything else by a mile because I practice with it the most. But
Right.
just learning like how to hold these guns, how to maneuver, like it's, I don't want to say it's common sense stuff. Like if you've never held one, it can be a little confusing, but just little things like to watch out for so you don't get bit with a slide or something like that. But
Yeah.
I love teaching people how to shoot too. I like teaching in general. It's fun.
Absolutely.
Well,
That's the trainer in you, man.
yeah, right. For real. So
As you
I
said,
usually,
information.
what's
Oh,
that?
go ahead. I was gonna say, as you said, people feel like they have to hold in information, and information is definitely meant to be, taken in, applied, and
Mm,
shared. In my belief,
I agree.
so the educational part is definitely something that is very important, regardless
I,
of what you're doing.
yeah, I do agree. So, when I wind these down, I usually like to ask this final question here. This is the only question that is sort of scripted. Knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself when you were 18, 20, or 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it may be?
So that's a good question. I like that a lot, actually. Um, Knowing what I know now, what would I tell my 18-year-old self? Um, hmm, I like this question. Makes you think.
I've heard some good
Y-
answers on this one.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? This is not even going to have anything to do with fitness. Um,
It's fair.
you know, I think I would tell my 18-year-old self that you can't trust everybody.
Hmm.
Um, Friends are overrated. Um, it's cool to surround yourself with like-minded people because when you're 18, you just feel like everybody around you is your friend that you're cool with and you see every
Mm,
day. Um, so the importance of building relationships. Um, yeah, knowing what I know now because that's what it's all about. You
mm,
know, building relationships with people that are like-minded, that are goal-oriented, that are you know on the same path as you, is really what I think life is about, man.
mm.
I think a lot of us get so caught up in like social media and different influencers and just it's just a lot of smoke out there.
Mm.
So I just feel like knowing what I know now, just how important it is to just surround yourself with like-minded people, positive people, people that are going to push you, people that are going to, you know, force you to grow. When you're 18, you don't really think of any of that.
Mm.
At least I didn't. Um, and I think just in life in general, that's one of the most important things that I've experienced is just getting around the right people, man, and just being an inspiration to others and helping others and like you said educating other people on what you know. And I
Mm.
think that is really a big life lesson that I've learned, and just be positive and be around people that are going to push you in that direction.
I like
um
that.
yeah, man, because that's extremely important to me now. It's just not everybody's your friend, man, and not everybody you think is just smiling in your face is really there for you.
Mm.
A lot of people have ulterior motives. A lot of people are, doing things behind your back, saying things behind your back, and just when you come across someone genuine, that's genuinely out here doing good, you know, get around people like that.
Mm,
That's what I would tell that 18-year-old kid back
I like that. That's really
then.
good. And I think that's really important, especially for the younger people, because I guess I could even say that to myself too, instead of trying to impress these other people or keep up with everybody, like just be who you are and find people that are going to help you be better. You ever hear
Absolutely.
Dan Pena? You know who Dan Pena is?
I do not.
I think you would like him. He's not for the faint of heart, which I can tell you're not one of those people. He's definitely not for softer people. But
Hmm.
if you listen to Dan Pena, you'll hear him at one point or another say, "Show me your friends, I'll show you your future." And
That's true. I've
yeah,
heard that.
yeah.
Okay.
And what he means by that is, if you don't know, he just means if you're hanging around with bums, you're going to be a bum. You're hanging around with successful
For
people, you're going to be successful because
sure.
you become like, I forget who had this quote, but it was, you become like the top 5 people that you spend the most time with. And it's yeah, show me your
Yes.
friends, I'll show
Yes.
you your future. Was when I heard that quote from him, I was like, ooh, I like that.
It's true, man.
Yeah.
It's 100% true, man. Like you said, what you surround yourself with is what you will become.
Mm,
You know, and if you want to get in shape, be around people that are in shape.
yep.
If you want to get rich, get around people who are rich.
Mm-hmm.
There's a saying, surround yourself around people that have what you want. Whatever it is you're trying to do in life, whether you want a physique, whether you want to get, you want to be a better investor, you want to get into stocks, you want to get into real estate, you want to get into whatever, you
Mm-hmm.
got to get around people that are doing what you want. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like you said, you're looking to get into real estate. Hey, hopefully you have someone around you that has done real estate before. You
Working
know,
on that.
yeah, and that's what it's all about, man. If you can network, your network is your net worth, right? That's what they say.
Oh, that's a good one
So,
too. I haven't heard that.
you know what I mean? So it's like going back to the bum thing. You hang around 5 people that are bums, you're going to be the sixth. If you hang around 5 millionaires, chances are you're going to be the sixth millionaire.
Yeah.
So definitely, take into consideration who you spend your time with, and who you're allowing to, you know,
Influence you.
yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, well said.
um, yeah, man, that's my tip to my 18-year-old self, and I like your perspective as well.
Awesome. Hey, thank you for coming on. Do you yeah, share your Instagram, whatever, if people want to reach out. Anything else you want to share?
Yeah, man. First off, thanks for having me, man. This was a great experience.
Of course.
Shout out to you, man. Shout out to RN Fitness Gear. If you're in New Hampshire, or if you're on Instagram, please go check out my man Nick Kroll. Hopefully, I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah. Nick Kroll.
My man Nick Kroll over at RN Fitness Gear. He's a very, very inspirational trainer out here, and go check him out, man. You can find me on Instagram as well. My Instagram handle is Training with Day, DAY 5, Training with Day 5, and loads of content up there. I just try to promote what I'm doing in the gym. I try to put up my clients and just make sure that everything is educational. So
Hmm.
hopefully, if you come across the channel, or excuse me, come across the page, hopefully there's some helpful tips on there for you. You can either get from him or I,
And
one of the two.
I can almost guarantee if you do go to his page, you will find a helpful tip or 10.
My man, thank
I
you,
know I
man. I
certainly
try.
have.
I try, man. I
Well,
try.
well, cool, man. Thank you again for being here, and everybody, thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.